Hello, good morning, and let me welcome you to Abuja. And we are not recording this. We're not coming to you directly from our studio. We are outside. You know what they say? If Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain, the mountain has bloody got to move and go and meet Muhammad. We have elected to leave our studio and go meet our guest this morning. My name is Mwabuz Njoko. Welcome to Signature Morning this Thursday morning. You know that by this Saturday, the People's Democratic Party says, and we'll soon see why I'm saying says, that they are holding their national convention in Ibadan. A number of people who had invited to this program said, we are heading to Ibadan for our national convention. Is PDP holding a national convention in Ibadan? Is it the PDP that is holding the national convention in Ibadan? We answer those questions. We interrogate them. This morning I have Barrister Okechukwu Osoha. I will introduce Barrister Okechukwu Osoha as the Deputy Legal Advisor to PDP. But we still query that status in the course of this conversation. Osoha, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Are you the Deputy Legal Advisor to PDP?
Yes, I am the National Deputy Legal Advisor of PDP because I was elected through a national convention in 2021 with other national officers. I'm the national officer from Abia State. So, and my office and my tenure runs from now to December. That's next month, because we were sworn in December of 2021. So I still remains the National Deputy Legal Advisor.
But you were suspended some weeks back.
I'm hearing it from your mouth because I was not suspended.
Not your knowledge.
Yes, because in our law, in our party, things are done in accordance with the law. The constitution of the party is so clear how you can suspend any national officer or even state officer. So there is a process and procedure. So legally, there was no any process. Are you hearing me? I just saw the whatever news they set up that the National Secretary, Senator Anyanwu, and the National Legal Advisor, my principal, and the National Organizing Secretary, Captain Bature, that and myself, that we were suspended. I saw it in the social media. So there was no process. No offense was preferred against me. No defense, no fair. I was not even, there was no panel, no disciplinary committee. I was not even called upon.
Who suspended you?
I don't know. I said some few people said that they met. Was there any meeting of NWC? There was no meeting. Because as far as I'm concerned, I know the person that has the constitutional right and powers to summon an NWC meeting, to issue notices for any meeting, both NWC, NEC meeting, National Convention, is the National Secretary, in accordance with Section 36 of the PDP Constitution. So there was no NWC meeting.
But the chairman of the party, Damagu, said he suspended all of it.
The only NWC meeting I know is that the one that was issued and summoned by the National Secretary, Senator Anyanwu, in conjunction with the National Organizing Secretary and National Legal Advisor, Ajibade SAN, and other members of NWC. They met. There was an emergency meeting. And when they came out of that meeting, there was a resolution. And that was passed. And in that meeting, they now suspended, because of gross misconduct of the former national chairman, that's Ambassador Damagu. They accused him of, misconduct, and also that high-handedness, that he was not managing the party well. There was leadership failure on his side. So they decided to suspend him. So they suspended him, and equally the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunaba, and the National Youth Leader. And so most of them, they were suspended based on their misconduct.
Was the organ of the party properly constituted?
That's what I'm telling you.
To suspend those people.
NWC meeting, emergency meeting,
in which the chairman was present or absent.
The meeting
National
was issued, the notice was issued, and it was escalated by the national secretary, who had the constitutional duty in section 36 to issue notice of a meeting. They met, and they came up and they suspended the former national chairman and other members of NWC, like the national publicity secretary. And in that order, they now appointed a new acting national chairman, Abdullahi Abdurrahman Muhammad, who is from the North Central, because in accordance with our constitution, when the chairman is suspended or he is not in office, the deputy from that area will now take over. So you can recall or recollect that even when the former national chairman, Dr. Yochayu, was removed by the court, that was what brought Damagu, who was the deputy national chairman from the north. And incidentally, he came from the northeast. And then that position, ab initio, was zoned to the North Central. So now the national vice chairman, North Central, Abdurrahman Muhammad, now came in and they now appointed him the acting national chairman. So as I'm speaking to you now, he is the acting national chairman.
Let me take from you.
Them have been sent to. There was the notice that has been sent to INEC.
Okay, let me just take it from you there.
Okay.
By the time Damagu was appointed, he was appointed to replace Iyochie Ayu.
Yes, as acting national chairman.
Acting national chairman.
Yes.
On what occasion was he appointed?
Immediately, because after election of 2023, he could remember there was controversies and issues, conflict, here and there, based on those people. There was a group called G5, led by the Minister for FCT, former governor of Rivers State. They had a demand, and they said that in as much as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was zoned that ticket to the north, that is Atiku Abubakar.
Yes.
That normally by the provision of our constitution, that the national chairman of the party should come from the south. So that was when that their demand. It now escalated to the point that the executives of Iyochayu from Benue State suspended him. They removed him. So when they suspended him, so it went to the matter went to court, and court upheld that suspension and removed Iyochayu. So based on that removal, so by the provision of our constitution, the deputy from that zone, who was the deputy then, was Damagu. So he filled up.
In other words, Damagu automatically.
Yes,
I'm trying to
even when he got into the office as acting national chairman,
yes,
the people from that North Central, who ab initio, it was their right. The national chairman position was zoned to them. They contested, they protested. I can remember people like Senator David Mark, Senator Suswan, former Governor Otto.
Yeah, they wanted it to return to the North Central.
But they now went to court. And I knew that it was even the support of the current Minister for FCT, they did and went to court. And their court got an order from the court, still sustaining Damagu. So Damagu remains since then, which was an aberration. He was not even supposed to be there till now. But God has a way of doing things. He remained. But I think from his conduct, it is apparent there was leadership vacuum. There's leadership failure. You can find out what has happened to our party since his administration, to the extent that about more than 6 governors have visited our party. Most of our National Assembly members, House of Assembly members, legislators, they have decided to exit our party, to leave PDP and defect to other party, to the ruling party APC. It's very, very embarrassing. It was not good. So that was what this emergency meeting of NWC, they looked at, they said, no, for moving forward, that there's urgent need to put things right in our party. And they were able to appoint the new acting chairman,
who is from the
North Central.
You know what I'm trying
to say? Which in equity,
yeah.
Are you hearing me? Is even correct in law. Are you hearing me?
You are correcting what was.
Normally, yes.
I'm trying to establish whether the correct organ of the party appointed Damagu, or Damagu just moved not.
Of course, I told you, because it was
what court did was to sustain
the provision of the constitution.
Yes, to say, look, Ayu is gone.
Yes, so there must be a replacement.
So automatically Damagu
came over.
Okay,
yes. And since then, And there was need for a convention, either a mini convention, because even in our provision of our constitution, after every 2 years of if you elect officers of the party, after every 2 years, there's always a provision that there should be a mini convention to ratify their position.
Was Damago's position ever ratified?
It was not done. It was
just that automatic movement as a result of conversation.
So he has been functioning there. So then this thing happened, and he has been removed by an emergency meeting of NWC. Are you hear me? And then a new national chairman has been appointed.
Acting national chairman. It
chairman.
will also require a convention or a mini convention to ratify it and make it acceptable.
So that is what we are.
For now, it is a palliative.
No, not really a palliative, because they are in the administration of the party. Are you hearing me? There cannot be any vacuum. The party must function. So administratively, he has started even from his statement. The first press, we escorted him. He went and assumed office. You remember? In our national secretariat. He assumed office in the office of the national chairman. And since then, he made press statement that he has to do a lot to reconcile all aggrieved parties. Call a meeting, bring all the stakeholders and leaders of party together. These are things that is required. Don't forget that even the convention, there's a planned convention. The party planned to hold a national convention. And even the last NEC meeting, I was present in that NEC. I'm a NEC member. So there was this zoning committee that was established, headed by the governor of Bayelsa State, Doyodiri.
Who is now a member of APC.
Who has now abandoned us and left us and went over to APC. You see all these men without integrity and honor. So he was the chairman of the zoning committee. And in the last NEC meeting, with his members, they brought a report in that NEC meeting, in the way that position should be zoned. And then, maybe in their wisdom, they said because of tension in the party and also to maintain unity. Are you hearing me? So they decided they brought a report and then a recommendation and let the status quo remain. I'm a lawyer. When you say status quo ante bellum in law, means that wherever all the parties were, before the matter commenced, they should all remain there. What it amounted or tantamounted to was that all the positions in the north should remain in the north. Those in the south should equally remain in the south. That was where they ended. They said it, and the party, the NEC accepted it, and the resolution was passed. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
So there was no provision for microzoning. They didn't go further to recommend microzoning. What is causing problem now that made people to even approach the court and resist or even protest about what is going on? Some group went to Lagos from the south, headed by the governor of Oyo State, Makinde, Seyi Makinde. They went to Lagos and heard and purportedly say that they held a meeting of Southern PDP caucus. And in that meeting, major stakeholders from the south, essentially from the southeast, were excluded. As far as I'm concerned, the highest ranking PDP man from the south is the National Secretary, Senator Anyanwu. He was not invited in that meeting. Myself, who is the Deputy National Legal Advisor, was not invited. Most of our leaders and the stakeholders from the southeast and south-south, we are not invited. I remember Dr. Okeziba, the immediate governor of PDP from Abia State, was excluded. Ugwani, the immediate governor from Enugu State, was equally excluded. The immediate past governor of Rivers State and Minister for FCT, who is still a member of PDP, was excluded. He was not in that meeting. And they said they have microzone, taking all the positions from the southeast. Even the national secretary said they have zoned it to the northwest. So this thing did not go down well with some of these stakeholders. And that was what led. You saw there was a meeting that was called Concerned PDP Stakeholders from the south. Are you hearing me? Yes. Convened by the Minister for FCT. And we met, that group met, and said no, that we cannot allow the one we were in the NEC meeting and saw was a recommendation and let the status quo remain. So if you say status quo remain, that means you should cut across the divide. Wherever you are, remain there. All the positions in the south, you should be in the southeast. In the north, you remain in the north. in the southwest, that even the national chairman, Abidisho, was zoned to the north central. That the north central is supposed to produce the national chairman. So for you to alter this thing is an aberration. So they made some demands, and not only that, that even there are places in Nigeria and states in Nigeria where congresses have not been conducted. We still remember in the southeast, precisely from Ebonyi State and Anambra State, there are congresses that have not been conducted. I still remember some few months after that NEC, the NEC meeting, the last NEC meeting, 102 meeting, the NEC mandated and directed NWC that they should go and conduct congresses in some of these, most of these states where congresses have not been held, especially Ebonyi State and Anambra, and Southeast. Because there was a congress that purportedly they conducted in the Southeast during the time the governor of Enugu State, Mba, was still with PDP. So that congress was challenged. Some people said no, that was not done properly, and they went to court, and court nullified that congress. And that was why the NEC said that a new, fresh congress in the Southeast should be conducted. In fact, I saw them, the NWC, they set up, there was they put up a date of that congress, that the congress was to be held. Yes. After a while, I saw them, they said that they have put that congress on hold. And then what they gave that until further notice. So these things were playing out. So some aggrieved people from the south, they approached the Federal High Court. I'm giving you an analogy about what transpired. They went to Federal High Court. And what they now brought to Federal High Court was that the laws of the extant laws are being violated. Essentially, the constitution of the party and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, giving everybody, equal participation. That even the Electoral Act is being violated. And their constitutional right, their fundamental right are being infringed upon. They approached the court for interpretation and for court to address that issue. It was not about internal affairs of the party. Because even the day in judgment, that day of judgment, I was in Federal High Court that day. The court said that the matter before there was not about administration of the party or party positions, who is the secretary of the national chairman and organizing secretary. It was not that. That it was people who were aggrieved because the law, extant laws of the land were being violated. And that in Nigeria that is practicing democracy, that democracy must try by the rule of law. You cannot, violate the rule of law. And they gave a very unambiguous judgment, very emphatic. They pronounced that the PDP should go back to drawing board and do things properly in accordance with the law. And that they are putting that convention on hold. That there's still time for us. We should run back to our house and put our house in order. In fact, they went further and gave injunctions. They looked at INEC, because INEC is the critical agency, federal government agency that regulates parties in Nigeria and even conducts election. They gave orders to INEC. I was there, and I even read that the CTC of the judgment, that INEC is barred from observing anything that PDP is going to do. That they should not even observe their convention or even any and there are equally notices, statutory notices that have not been given to INEC. Don't forget, before you hold any convention, you give 21 days statutory. And that they even went through and said that even the national secretary is a critical position, that his duties are so fundamental that he must issue notices and sign with the chairman.
I have a problem here. I hope you don't mind my interjection.
Go ahead.
Those in opposition to this court case said they are embarrassed because the national secretary, in the presence of a number of your governors, did indeed sign a letter to INEC.
Yes.
Did it happen?
Good.
You were in that meeting?
I was in that meeting. That's a very good and pertinent question. I'm a lawyer. In law, there's a provision. A law says that he who asserts in law, if you make an assertion, the burden of proof will rest upon you, and you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. And don't forget, the matter was pending in court. It was a matter before a court. And the defendants were to come and prove their matter. Were they able to prove beyond reasonable doubt? The secretary is saying that he did not sign. And that even the signature that purportedly they say that they signed was forged.
We were in that meeting where the governor said
there was no document. There was no document brought out in that meeting
for him to sign.
Yes, I didn't see any document.
Go ahead.
What they claim that they met him in his office, that they signed, and these things are still speculations and allegations. But what I know that the court was so thorough in their judgment. Even the court even looked at the parties to the matter. Don't forget they formulated issues. One of the issues was who was the legal or competent lawyer to represent the party. And in accordance with the constitution of the party, is the national legal advisor. But because of these anomalies and impunities, the party, through the national chairman, went and brought Barrister Chris Uche SAN, a renowned lawyer, to come and represent the party. And it was an argument who was the authentic representative of the party. It was in that court that day that the court said no, that in the first instance, according to section 36 of the 1999 Constitution, that every Nigerian citizen of Nigeria who is aggrieved, a litigant, that you have the right to seek redress in court. And one of that right is that you must seek the services of a legal practitioner. Then going further, that the party in our party constitution are elected Ajibade SAN as their lawyer to represent them in any legal matter. And even if there's need to appoint another lawyer, that it is the duty to appoint another lawyer. And not for you to put him back. That's why I tell you some of these anomalies and impunity is what is causing our problem in our party.
But there are those who say it is not an impunity.
Let me finish. Even the court now in that matter that day, in that court that day, said that that even Chris Uche cannot be recorded, that he has no locus to even represent the party. There was this issue about National Vice Chairman Southeast, Ali Odefa, who was part of this problem of this party that caused a lot of problem when he was being paraded by the governor of Enugu State that he is the National Vice Chairman. Are you hearing me? His ward in Ebonyi State expelled him. The state ESCO expelled him. They went to court, Federal High Court in Abakaliki, and the court upheld that expulsion. The man was expelled, and he did not in any way appeal that judgment of the court, and he still parades himself as a National Vice Chairman Southeast, and still continue to attend. He was allowed by the former chairman Damagu to be attending NEC meetings and other party meetings, to the extent that in that matter in the Federal High Court, he was joined as a party to the matter. But in that judgment, I saw the judge, the court said, no, you're not even a member of PDP. Are you hearing me? You can't even function in any position in PDP. You can't be a party to this matter. Are you hearing me? So the judgment was so clear. If you look at the CTC of the judge, so these are the anomalies that made the court to say, go back and put your house in order. And INEC should not observe you or do anything. Are you hearing me? So this was the position of law. For me as a lawyer, that's why I said there are leadership failure. What I expected the former national chairman to do was to go back, study that judgment, call me because of their need for reconciliation and negotiation, call all the aggrieved parties, all the leaders of the party, all the stakeholders, can call a NEC meeting, can call a meeting, call everybody together and say, let us reconcile, let us negotiate for a way forward. But I didn't see that. In the contrary, what I now saw was they now rushed in desperation. They now rushed to another state high court in Ibadan, a court that has a coordinate jurisdiction with a federal high court. And don't forget, Chief, that's why we have hierarchy of courts in Nigeria. It's provided in the Constitution of the Federal Republic that if you approach the court of first instance in your matter, and after judgment you're dissatisfied with the judgment, you go and appeal to an appellate court. And not going to, and that's why I said they went to even the court in Ibadan, granted them an ex parte order. An ex parte order means it's an interim order that has an expiration time of 7 days. And then even when you bring a matter before and you are applying for ex parte order, You didn't even notify the other party for them to come and defend themselves for fair hearing. You just got an order. And the other is saying, go ahead and do a convention.
Okay, I'll come to you very quickly. We are interrogating the PDP National Convention.
Okay.
Purportedly taking place in Ibadan this Saturday.
Okay.
And this conversation is with the Deputy National Legal Advisor of PDP. And I opened this conversation by asking him, are you the Deputy National Legal Advisor of PDP? And he says yes. This conversation continues shortly. Just don't go away. Stay with us.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.
Okay, we are still with Barrister Okechukwu Osoha, the Deputy National Legal Advisor of the People's Democratic Party. Now, Barrister, I've kept using the word purportedly because I do not want to fall foul of the law.
Okay.
There is a national convention advertised in the media that the PDP is holding in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, this Saturday.
Okay.
How authentic is it? A real PDP National Convention?
Thank you so much. Like I said, let me clarify some issues and enlighten our public, the viewing public, about the position of things and position of law. When you talk about National Convention, I've actually enlightened and educated us about all the things that have gone through since that convention is being planned. As far as I'm concerned, whoever goes to Ibadan is a meeting of associates. It's not a national convention of the PDP, because PDP have come out, categorically to say that they are not holding their convention now. The PDP, led by acting national chairman Abdurrahman Mohammed, he has said a statement, even to the media and even to INEC, that we're not holding a convention in obedience with the court judgment. I've stated and I've explained to you that the Federal High Court in Abuja, in the judgment, we have the CTC of the judgment, that the judgment said that the party should put the convention on hold and go back to our party, to our house, and put things in order in accordance with the law. The extant laws of Nigeria, both the ground norm, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act, and essentially the Constitution of the party, Section 2 of our Constitution, PDP Constitution, provided that every member of this party and this organ must be bound by the Constitution of the party. That is one. So I don't know why there's a court judgment and somebody will not appeal on that court judgment, or you didn't even apply for stay of execution. You go to another court of concurrent jurisdiction and get another interim order to say that you should go ahead. For me, as far as I'm concerned, there are plethora of cases, that it will now give evidence to it. Concord versus CCB is a case that was, tried up to Supreme Court. The court said that if there's a matter, there's a judgment in a court of first instance that you're not satisfied, you go to an appellate court, you appeal the matter, and not to go to another court. So we're obeying court judgment for now. We are not holding any convention. We are trying to put our house in order. I've told you about some states that congresses have not taken place. That is the next thing. Now, Abdurrahman have said it. The party, the NWC, is working out a modality to go and conduct those congresses in those states, essentially in the southeast, Ebonyi State, Anambra State, in southeast. Because what it amounts to, if you don't do the proper congresses, you rush and you go and do convention. My brother, if you go and do convention, it will mean that you're excluding those people from that area. You're disenfranchising them from participating formally and legally in a national elective convention. Convention is the highest organ of the party, where you elect national officers that will run the party affairs in the next 4 years, and you exclude a whole zone, southeast zone, and even Ekiti State. I remember the former governor of Ekiti State, that's Fayose. He pointed it out. He said that that there was a congress that was conducted before, and that the court held and said that and nullified that congress, and even ordered that a new congress should be conducted in Ekiti. It has not been done. So these are things we need to do as a party. Are you hearing me? So we do these things and put our house in order to now allow for a convention. Those people that are saying they are gathering in Ibadan, I say it's a gathering of associates, political associates who just want to have a meeting, because it's not a convention. The party, as far as I'm concerned, has said we are not holding convention for now. We want to obey the court order, that we are not a party that disobeys court judgments and orders, because Nigeria is a democratic society. We are not a banana republic. Things should be done in accordance with the law. That's what I can tell you. There's no convention as far as the party PDP is concerned. But there are some groups that are still insisting they must do convention. They are going to Ibadan. Don't forget, there are legal consequences if you do things wrongly, unlawfully, not in accordance with the law. It has happened before in Zamfara State. It has happened before in Plateau State. And in other states, a lot of states in the federation, you just think with impunity you can do things without following the rule of law.
I will come to that very soon.
When you do it, you see.
I'll come to that very soon.
Go ahead.
But what worries me now, and I want you to help me as a lawyer.
Okay.
When the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled and said, don't proceed with the convention until you have conducted congresses in some states where congresses had not been conducted.
Exactly.
Certain officers of the party were responsible for obeying that court order.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Okay.
Now, those people responsible have been shunned out in series of suspensions and counter suspensions. Who is to obey that court order now? Can you help me?
Thank you so much.
The reason I'm asking the question is like, I need education.
Thank you so much.
The law saw Anyanwu as secretary in that order, saw Damagu as national chairman in that order, and saw other personalities and officials. Those people have been suspended. Who is to obey the court order?
The moderator, thank you so much. That's what I told you. I brings out that fact, the problem of leadership. I've said it, many times in this interview and even in other platforms where I've addressed. I said there's lack of leadership. A court judgment that is so unambiguous. Then all these suspensions you are talking about, I've even addressed it, that there was no proper, all those people who purportedly claim that they suspended the national secretary. It was wrong. There was no proper NWC meeting. There was no proper procedure or process. The national secretary have said it. Even when we are having issues of national secretary, it nearly tore our party apart. We approached INEC then. You saw there were a lot of controversies here and there. INEC came out openly and then addressed us, advised us, guided us properly that the national secretary position is fundamental and critical, that we should not toy with it, because every notices of meetings must be issued by national secretary. And Anyanwu still remains the national secretary in accordance with the Supreme Court judgment. And all the correspondences to INEC, that Anyanwu must send those correspondences. Even Anyanwu holds the seal of the party. Are you hearing me? The seal of the PDP is held by the national secretary. He is the administrative chief executive and the accounting chief executive of the party. Anyanwu, the national secretary, sends all the annual report to INEC so that you don't toy with it. So how can you now say you have suspended Anyanwu? The national legal advisor who's supposed to be giving you legal opinion, what we are passing through, we are going through legal litigations, matters in here, court, here and there. Who is the person who's supposed to be giving you legal opinion about how you address your matter and the issues? Is the national legal advisor. You claim you have suspended, purportedly claim you have suspended him for 1 month. The national organizing secretary, you are saying that you are going to organize a national convention. Who has the duty, in accordance with our constitution, to organize it? Is it not the national organizing secretary? If you go to the constitution, you say you put him aside. Like I've explained to you, ab initio, that even the forms that purportedly printed that they say they are selling, the office of the national organizing secretary was put by the side. I learned that some people just put that form, they collected them and kept it somewhere, and they were issuing it to their people, their preferred candidates. Even they say they have gotten a consensus candidate, giving form, which is wrong. That is why a former governor of Jigawa State went to court, challenging or saying that his right is being infringed upon, that he was not even allowed to purchase form. This was a founding member of PDP, Sule Lamido, So these are the anomalies that have been playing out. And that's why court said, go and put your house in order. You don't do things arbitrarily. You don't do things, we are not in an anarchy state. Are you hearing me? You claim you are trying to chase away the ruling government because of impunity they are doing and because undemocratic process, what they are doing, they are not ruling well. You want to take over Nigeria. And in your house, in your party, you cannot put your house in order. People always assert and claim that it is internal affairs. That's why court said, no. Let me give you an example, my chief. It's like you want to hold a political meeting and there's a controversy, there's issues that will now lead to maybe people are quarreling, they are fighting, and you kill somebody in that meeting. In that political meeting you have convened, somebody is killed. Are you hearing me? Will the court and the law overlook it and say, no, it's the internal affairs of the party? You getting my point? So that was why court said no. That even the Supreme Court said, if you want to do things in accordance in your party, as an internal affairs, you must do it in accordance with the law and the rule of law and the Electoral Act. That's why the court say, go and put your house in order before you plan a convention. And even a bad INEC, gave INEC orders. It was an injunction. They should not even participate. And you think you can go to Ibadan and order INEC again. When I look at all these things happening in our country, it brings us, it's embarrassing. And it makes us look at the judiciary, all these our institutions. How strong is our institution? Let us leave the judiciary. Because when you now give all these conflicting judgments and orders, it ridicules our legal system. For me, I will call it a judicial rascality.
I don't want us to focus on the judiciary. They have their own day.
Okay.
For today, permit me to call you back to the history of this crisis.
Okay.
And maybe you educate us whether we in the media are either forgetful or we're wrong.
Okay.
At the beginning of this struggle,
okay,
the fundamental challenge was the zoning understanding in the PDP.
Okay.
The presidential candidate comes from south.
Okay.
The chairmanship must go to the north.
Okay.
Then Muhammad Buhari, God bless his soul, wherever he is, was the president of the Federal Republic. And Nyesom Wike, then governor of Rivers State, in his own argument said, since the north, in whichever party,
yes, I've had
was the president, ordinarily, commonsensically, the next president should come from the south. Then Atiku Abubakar emerged as the candidate of the PDP, and he objected to it.
Okay.
That is the story that was the sharp knife that first gave the deep cut on PDP.
Okay.
Now Atiku Abubakar has gone his way.
Okay.
Why is PDP therefore incapable after Atiku Abubakar's exit?
Okay.
To put its act together and resolve its challenge. What else? Apart from all these rascalities, because there ought to be a fundamental reason why PDP. And let me tell you where I'm going to.
Okay.
Is there a ploy to make sure that PDP does not produce a candidate in the 2027 election?
Thank you so much. I think my answer to this is going to be, the different perspectives. In the first instance, you asked me, you gave me a historical analogy about
to say that the so-called problem has existed,
how it started. And I have told you, even in this forum, that the problem with us, there are, issues bordering on the value system, integrity. And then we have another issue, character. because most of times you see human beings, it depends on your character. And that's why we talk about in any organization, we have leadership. There are leadership qualities that you need to imbibe. When there's an issue, you stand your ground, you follow. And that's why we're able to, I read law. He said that the society cannot be thrive or should not be ruled by the whims and caprices of individuals. Society should be ruled by laws, codes, statutes. So you see, that's why when we have the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, every other person in this country is under the law. Then when we now have a party, in party politics, the party constitution says that all the members must be bounded by the law. So why is it that we now begin to, cut corners? There's no cutting corners as far as I'm concerned. You must follow the due process of the law. PDP constitution, those who drafted them, was, envisaged a situation whereby because of the diversity in this country, they wanted something that would bring us together. Don't forget, PDP was the party that heralded democracy or civil rule after the exit of the military rule, the military dictatorship in 1999. They thought about it and said, how do we frame our constitution to bring equity, inclusivity, and then let there be harmony and justice in the country? And they now provided that rotational provision in our constitution and said, if the presidency comes from the north, the chairman of the party should come from the south, and vice versa. And that was what happened. We were there. I'm a member of NEC. So in that election, the 2023, before we started our campaign and the primaries, the last NEC meeting, I was there. All the stakeholders, all the members of NEC were there. We were toying with it. Where do we zone our presidency? Where do we put it? What do we do? I still remember the first person that stood up in that NEC meeting that day and made his address was former minister from Anambra State, Ambassador ABC Wosu. He stood up. He said, yes, that we should be alive and adhere to the constitution of our party. He now read out this provision that the chairmanship has now been given to the North, Dr. Yochayu, that equity demands that the presidency should go to the South. I remember that day. He was supported by Senator Mago Habonwa. He stood up. And the next thing was, I saw Senator Ningi from the North. He stood up and brought up a proposal, a position.
A counter-position.
Yes, that we have delayed enough, that this decision should have been taken a long time ago. Are you hearing me? That we have allowed many people to go and buy form. And the PDP were interested, those executives, the national workers, they were interested in money. They wanted to make more money because people were interested in PDP. There was that love and that everybody was looking up to PDP. So people were rushing to buy form and they wanted to make more money. They said, I have allowed a lot of people have bought form. Atiku has bought form. The governor of Akwa Ibom then, Odom Emmanuel, has bought form. Senator Saraki bought form. Even the senior brother to Senator Mao Habunwa, yes, Sam Habunwa, bought form. Then a lot of them, Wike bought form. Tambuwa bought form. Even one other lady, they bought, a lot of people bought, even one guy from Abia State, former Speaker of the House of Assembly, are you hearing me? He bought form, presidential form. No. They said that at that point in time, if we want to look at it, because that's why I said it's all about human idiosyncrasy and the failure, leadership failure. So they now said, if we begin to zone at that point in time, why should you jettison the constitution? And if we do it at that point in time, it will amount to excluding some people. Even they quoted the Constitution of Federal Republic of Section 42 that provided that no citizen of Nigeria should be discriminated based on the circumstances of his birth. There are provisions in the Constitution that said free participation. They said that the Constitution of Nigeria should override the Constitution of PDP. That's why I'm educating us. That was where this problem started. That was when they would have said this position is zoned to the south, because he didn't say southeast or southwest, or he said north and the south. If that has come to the south, maybe then we will now meet stakeholders in the south and said maybe Southeast is the place that has not tested this position. He should go to the Southeast. And maybe that emergence of Obi or somebody like Wike would have made us, PDP would have won this election landslide. They toyed with it and said they have given it, let them not allow them, everybody should go and test his popularity in the primary. We should do primary for them. Are you hearing me? That's where it started. And we did the primary of the PDP in the National Stadium. And you can recollect or recall what happened that day. Even last minute, because all the contestants before the election, before the primary, should be allowed to make a statement, address the public.
Yes.
And the guideline of the party that after that addresses, it is closed, then election will start. But last minute, even Governor Tambuwa, who has already given his public address then, he came up again and said he wants to speak, which is even wrong. But because he Yochayu, that's why I say all these manipulations, qualities, he allowed him. He came up and said he's withdrawing from the contest. He's no longer contesting. And he's now asking his supporters, all the delegates, that they should now support Atiku Abubakar. And that was what led to Atiku now won election. He won the primary. I still remember Wike, the minister president, he was governor of Rivers State. He stood up and said he has accepted the election, that every other person will support who has emerged. Another issue that now happened, another problem that now caused this repo was the vice president ticket. They now set up a committee of 13 members that they should go and select a vice president ticket. And Wike was in the picture. The governor of Governor Emmanuel Odom was in the picture. Okowa was nominated. All of them came. And that committee, in their wisdom and whatever they did, that came up and they nominated Wike as the minister, as the vice president. And the Yochayi and the Atiku, who has emerged as candidate. And don't forget, the Constitution of Nigeria equally provided, allowed the candidate who emerged to choose his vice. But he has to be guided by the party, the political party. They now went and left that recommendation of the committee and went unilaterally and picked Okowa, who was the governor of Delta State. That is where the camel bag was broken.
Okay, now that you knew where the camel's back was broken, you've not answered my question.
Okay.
And that is, will PDP contest the 2027 election?
That's another dimension. That's another question. Let me answer you now. As far as I'm concerned, you can't run before the cat. There are stages in life. What we are concerned now is putting our house together.
Can you put that?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
No. I'm going to follow you.
Yes, we are.
The way things are playing out, all the parties seem to be digging in
because of overzealousness. Because those groups who are so overzealous. That's why I say you can't put something on top of nothing and expect it to stand in law. The court has given judgment and say, PDP, go and put your house in order and go out before you go for your convention.
Which they have not.
But there are processes. There's efforts being made. Like the acting national chairman, I've said, the new acting chairman.
Reconciliation.
Yes. And immediately it's done. Are you hearing me? The court is going to give a judgment because they have gone to appeal. Even that group they have appealed in the appeal court. So, and I expect the appeal court will give judgment. Even if it goes to the Supreme Court, very soon we get to know who is the authentic leaders or executive of the party.
Let me just
because those people who are rushing to Ibadan to do. Let me clear this point. Those who are rushing to Ibadan to say they are purportedly saying that they are doing the convention. If you do convention that is not in accordance with the law, and you parade yourself, you say yourself you have done convention, don't you think that this matter is still pending in court? If court at the end of time, I still give their judgment from appeal court to Supreme Court and said, we didn't tell you to go and do convention. We asked you that the convention is put on hold. the court will now ask the party, have you put your house in order? Have you not done the property? Those congresses will say, go and do, have you done it? And those will say, no, we didn't do it, but we went and did the convention. What do you think will happen? If court passes that convention and nullifies it, what will that amount that they don't have? What they did was a newly
no issue. You know why I was trying to interject?
Okay.
You say you are doing something to obey that order, put your house in
order.
Does it include appointing a new BOT chairman? How can you put your house in order when you are now toying with the conscience of the party?
Yes, that's another. Let me answer you. You know, the BOT organ is not even an organ of the party. That's
why I call it the conscience
of the party. Just eminent personalities, former leaders of the party, governors, presidents, who are still members of the party. They are members of board of trustees. And they're expected to live above board. Are you hearing me? They're supposed to be men of integrity and honor. So what happens to your house? You're fighting. You have a problem in your house is on fire. And you as a leader, as a father of the house, you begin to be compromised and you take sides. Are you hearing me? They are taking sides. They have taken sides. You know, even the leadership, they cannot even the last meeting they had, the former BOT. Are you hearing me? I saw them, they say they are neutral. How can you, a father, your children are fighting, they are killing themselves with your wife, you say you're neutral. You can't come out and make a proactive statement that can even be decisive and try to settle that matter. That's why that leadership, the group led by the acting chairman, Abdurrahman Muhammad, they came up and said they have they now selected and appointed another
a new conscience.
Good, you're making a point. And even the board of trustees, the new board of trustees, now went further and appointed or elected their chairman, Senator Maru Gabonga. Are you hearing me? So that is where we have gotten ourselves. So that's why I said, even if you have listened to my interview in a channel television the day they had me there, and I said that what is a problem of the party, that people allow their personal interests to override the collective interest of the party.
Let me just look at something of personal interest.
Okay.
This new BOT chairman, he came by, wrote a book titled "Because I Am Involved."
Okay.
He was unveiled, if not inaugurated, in the house of the FCT minister. Does that show a person whose conscience is not deposited somewhere already?
You have said you have mentioned the book
because I'm involved. Because FCT minister is involved.
I want to tell you, politics is all about interest.
Okay.
The primary definition of politics is who gets what, when, and how.
Okay.
There is always a commonwealth that is being distributed. Everybody will struggle to participate and to have a share. That's on one side. Then secondly, you're saying FCT is private. It's not. He's a minister of FCT and a public officer. He was in a life camp. His official reason. But what I'm saying, there's even something that has led to that. You know that the day the acting national chairman, Abdurrahman Muhammad, he went to assume office in the national secretariat. There were chaos. You know, at a point, the whole place was tear gas. And even before that time, there was rumors and information that some people planned to go and destroy, attack the party office. Even it happened that the day the national secretary, Senator Anyanwu, was going to he came to assume office in his office. There were people that were sent to attack him, hoodlums, thugs. If not for the police that were around that day and the DSSS people who rescued him, he would have been killed. So there are a lot of incidents that has occurred that even led to the police sealing off the national office of the party. You heard about it. That the PDP national secretary was sealed off, even the legacy house. So these are things that happen. So you can't risk your life going there to inaugurate a board of trustee members. Are you hearing me? Even some of the other board of trustee members, the former board of them, they were meeting in the chairman of governors forum That's PDP governors from Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi. He's a official resident. So these things are happening because we are a problem. Are you hearing me? He whose house, there's an adage in Igbo land that he whose house is on fire cannot even catch rat.
Those have no time to pursue them.
To pursue rat. So there's an issue already. That's why the court said, go and put your house in order. And not rushing to say you're organizing a convention when your house is on fire. You don't do things unlawfully.
Well, but so go put your house in order. That's what the court has told you. And you say you're making an effort to put that house.
And you too, you're the media house.
I wish
people are equally concerned. And you can equally do your own duty and promote and advise our people that they should do things lawfully and in accordance with the law.
Just the way you told us, so we shall say it.
Thank you.
Well, in the past 1 hour, I've been speaking with Barrister Okechukwu Osoha, the National Legal Advisor of the People's Democratic Party. I've just told him, Deputy National Legal Advisor of the PDP. I've told him that it appears that his party is shredded. Is he the Deputy National Legal Advisor? Still, he says yes. Well, we're waiting to see if another Deputy National Legal Advisor will be appointed. But what happens is that he says the matter is serious and they're making an effort to reconcile and resolve the problem. Let's wish them all the best. And as I wish you a great day today, as you invest your time very properly. My name is Mwabuoz Njoko. Good morning.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.